Hey guys, welcome to our Buffalo Plaid Paint Kit tutorial. If you don't already have the kit, the link for the kit is in this tutorial, so you can grab it and then come back to the tutorial. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing you want to do is start with your base color. So this is going to be your Republic Red, and you're going to paint the entire round in that red. Make sure you give some dry time between steps. Now we're going to tape off for the first set of lines. So find the center and mark it. Then take your tape, fold it in half, and lay it on your mark. Once you unfold it, you should be in the center of your piece. You don't have to be in the center on this step because the base is going to have a cover. But once you have that center marked, then tear yourself a piece of tape. You're going to use this tape as a spacer or guideline. So after you've marked your center, then put that guideline beside the center piece and then put another piece of tape. Lift your guideline, move it to the next section, then another piece of tape. Always leaving the guideline as a space in between your lines. What this does is it helps to ensure that you have even lines all the way across the round. Once you have your tape lines down, you're going to want to go back over the tape, making sure that your edges are secure. What this does is it will help prevent bleed through of the other colors going forward. To do this, sometimes I'll use a small plastic scraper like showing here. This is a plastic razor actually, and I purchased it off of Amazon. I'll throw the link in the tutorial. It's pretty handy, but you're going to want to make sure that you go easy around the painted surface. You can also use a brayer to press those down, or even just your fingertips. Just make sure the tape is on there secure. Now that we know that your tape is secure, we're going to want to start mixing the paint. In this step, you want a deep red. So you're going to take the Republic Red and you're going to mix a little bit of black. You want this to be a slightly darker tone. Just keep in mind we need one that's in between the two colors in the next step. So make it dark enough that there'll be a variance. Once you have the paint the color that you want it, go ahead and paint it on in between the lines. What I do suggest though when working with tape is to pull away from the edges of the tape and not push the paint towards the lines. If you push the paint towards the tape, it does have the chance to slide under. Now if we were just doing lines, I would also suggest going back over the tape with your base color, in this case Republic Red. What that does is if there is any bleed through, it's bleed through with the base color and not your new color. But this won't work in this case because we're going to be using multiple colors. You're going to want to make sure that you have a nice even coat through this. Otherwise you're going to have uneven lines and we don't want that. So make sure you put down one nice coat and then you can even come back and do a second coat if you like. Once you have all of your lines painted, you're actually going to want to remove your tape for this step and allow it to dry. Once those lines are dry, we're going to work to tape again, but we're going to work in the opposite direction. So just as before, you're going to want to find your center line, fold that tape in half, lay it on the mark for your center, and then unfold it so that you're on the center of the round. And from this point, you're going to go ahead and tape just as we did before, just moving in the opposite direction. Don't forget to pull you a piece of tape to use as a guideline so that your lines are nice and even all the way through. Once your lines are down, we're going to want to mix the next color. Now this one is going to be lighter than the last one, but not as light as the first. So just a little bit of black in the Republic Red should make the perfect shade. You just want to make sure you can see the difference between all three colors. So let's go ahead and just as before, paint down the next set of lines. But we're going to do something a little bit different once we have these lines painted. Also, just a reminder, paint away from the edge of the tape towards the center of your line, and this is to help prevent bleed through. Now this is where things can get a little tricky. I'm not sure if you can see it here, but you should see a lighter section of lines. Over that lighter section, you're going to go back and use your tape to line in the opposite direction, but you want to select the lighter set of lines to mark. Because we're following the lines that are already down, you won't necessarily need a piece of guide tape, but you can use it to help keep your lines straight but just look for the lighter section of lines to use the tape here. Now we're going to come back in with the black. We're only going to be working on the small square sections that are showing. And in this case, I actually used a small artist sponge. I grabbed them off of Amazon. I'll throw the link in the tutorial to fill this area in. I do this to help keep from pushing so much paint because I don't want that black bleeding through underneath the tape. Once you have the black down, we're going to want to go ahead and remove all of the tape on the piece. Be very careful though, because you still have wet paint, so it will be very easy to transfer that black onto everything around you. Once you've removed all the tape, this is what your finished piece should look like. Now we're going to want to let this dry before we move to the next step and begin gluing the top on. But during that time, you can go ahead and paint the top piece with Snow Owl to let that dry. When gluing your top pieces on, we recommend using wood glue because it gives you a little bit of time to move things around. We've included Wise Owl Furniture Salve in the kit to seal the piece with. So once the piece is completely dry, glue and all, you're going to want to go back in and apply the salve to the top. If you don't have a wax or salve brush, you can absolutely use just a microfiber cloth and make sure you cover the entire painted surface with the salve, buffing it in really well. You shouldn't have a shine and it will dry to a matte finish. If you have any questions about the process or any difficulty, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to help, and we hope you love your finished piece. If there's other types of kits you'd like to see, we'd love to hear from you as well. So drop us a line, and thank you so much for supporting our small business. It means a great deal.